Hot off the presses, some Battlefront news that's going to appease a lot of Battlefront fans and Battlefield fans alike. Another new game mode has just been announced and it's called Supremacy. At first glance you could be forgiven for thinking it's a lot like Conquest from Battlefield. After all, it does have 5 control points on the map that teams need to fight over, and DICE themselves in the blog update stated that the game mode will excite fans of Battlefield Conquest. That being said, it has a lot of differences and in many ways it's far simpler. First of all, both teams start with 2 of the 5 points already owned, and they have to fight it out to get control of the neutral central point in the middle of the map. The main difference though from Conquest is that you can't just capture any point you want. Once the middle point has been captured by a team, the rest have to be done in a certain order. Think of it like a tug of war but on a larger scale. What it means is that the game will always be centered around 2 points, 1 point for each team that can be captured, play attack and defense at the same time sort of thing. If a team captures one of those points, then a different 2 points become the focus. Imagine you were playing Chain Link from Battlefield 4 right now, but you had to capture each flag in order rather than capturing any point you wanted to, and there you have the basis of Supremacy. On the surface, it sounds like a fun game mode, and there are some positives and negatives here. Some good points: it means that the action is never too spread out, and when you die and respawn, you're always going to come straight back into the thick of it. Action is only going to be around the corner. It will also cater for both defensive and attacking minded players. You could either sit back and defend the last point your team owns, or you could push forward and try to claim the enemy's next point. It also helps newer and less experienced players a lot because of its simplicity. Players should always know the 2 points they need to attack or defend, and if they die, they're going to be put straight back into the action and not put on a point that's 300 meters away and go for a long jog. It's not going to confuse new players with multiple objectives. On the downside though, it means that you won't be able to do lots of sneaky peeky flanking maneuvers to backcap enemy flags like you would on say Chain Link or Conquest in Battlefield, because of course you have to capture a specific point, and this limits what you can do tactically when playing the game. It also means that this point is going to be heavily guarded at most times because the enemy team will always know what point to defend. Also, because of that, I can see this game mode being a lot less dynamic and changing than Conquest. The great thing about Conquest on Battlefield, for example, is that group of players can split up and go around taking multiple objectives at once, and this changes the entire dynamic of the game. But in Supremacy, it looks like it's going to be a more linear approach. Again, Battlefront is going to be a very accessible game for anyone to pick up and play without a great learning curve. Simplistic gameplay elements that anyone can pick up and jump straight into the action. It definitely looks like that's what they're going for here. Each round lasts a minimum of 10 minutes, but Dennis Brandval, who is lead multiplayer designer on Battlefront, confirmed on Twitter that each time a team gains control of another point, time is added back on, so in theory a game could go on for a lot longer than the initial 10 minutes. So how do you win a round of this overall? Well, the team that has the majority of the points when the time runs out wins. It's pretty simple. So how about vehicles in Supremacy? Well, you can expect to see most of Battlefront's vehicles on the Supremacy game mode, but not always on every level. I think it's more likely that you're going to get air vehicles on Sullust, Hoth and Tatooine, for example, rather than Endor. Expect to have lots of speeder bikes, TIE fighters, X-Wings and ATSTs, and the levels are also going to be some of the largest ones that you'll see in Battlefront, with vast areas, but of course a very focused playstyle because of how the game mode works. Hero characters will also be available on Supremacy, which is awesome. Darth Vader, Luke Skywalker and Boba Fett, to name a few of them. Those are confirmed to be playable now, and each with different abilities. Darth Vader, for example, would be a great character to secure control points with, as he can take increased damage before he's taken down, and I can imagine that jumping onto a control point as Luke and wiping out the enemy with some lightsaber swings and force pushes so your team can push onto the point will be particularly satisfying. All in all, you can expect Supremacy to take the best elements of Conquest, the large environments, vehicle gameplay and large player numbers, but force the play into certain gameplay areas to make it more focused but simpler. It will definitely be more accessible for non-Battlefield players and new players alike, but it does mean that a lot less strategy and tactics can be employed here for experienced players when trying to win games. Finally, I have a sponsored promotional message for you guys from a website called Opinion Outpost. We've done a couple of these in the past. They're a research company that rewards you with money and gift cards for Amazon, iTunes, etc. in exchange for sharing your opinions on brands and varying subjects by completing surveys. So they might want your opinion on a TV show, a movie, a new product, politics, that sort of stuff. It's free to join, and also they have a quarterly prize draw of $10,000 for active members. If you're interested in checking that out, the link is down in the description below if you want to click on that and have a gander. And that's all for today, folks. Hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know your thoughts on the Supremacy game mode for Battlefront down in the comments below. Cheers for watching as always, and I'll see you in the next one.